Yeah, I just wish my wrist was feeling a little better. It's still Howie from Bear running into it 2 weeks ago. But I didn't break anything, I kept going, so it's just a, using a muscle doesn't make it, but when I use this hand to turn it, it's no big deal, so I know it's just muscle.
Open the meeting, start with an invitation. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussions, allow us to grow closer as a community, and nurture the bonds of this community. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Davis?
Here.
Ward here, Miller? Here. Brower?
Here.
Chair Zelinski is excused.
Go ahead and open public comment at 6 o'clock.
Couple of things. In the packet this time, there's like a report, a balance sheet report. Instead of that, can we get the one we got last month, the expenditures report, showing, you know, the budgeted, where we are, year-to-date budget percentage. This month, the, balance sheet report basically says the same thing as the, your report, your cash summary report. I have a question on the salary and wage schedule. Do you wanna wait till you get to that on the agenda to talk about the
Yeah.
questions? Okay. And then on the, ordinance and for the blight, is there gonna be a new form, a new blight form? And also, the new ordinance that you have in the packet is, got the same number as the original ordinance, so shouldn't that be changed?
Yeah, that'll change. It's,
Okay,
what we have here is just the draft. It won't be the signed one.
okay, okay. Oh, Mary, last month you provided a copy of the statutory duties for the clerk. Is there some way that we can get copies of the same things like this for the supervisor, the treasurer, and the trustee?
I don't have anything other than that for what came in our magazine.
Oh, so they only, in the magazine, they only publish the statutory duties for the clerk?
The article was about clerks.
Ah, got it, okay, okay. I thought it was great, so that's why I was looking for something for everybody,
Yeah.
for all the time, okay. That's all I got.
Well, close public comment, 6:03. You have things you wanted to add, or is it?
No,
Okay.
toss them in at the end.
To the meeting agenda though, for unfinished business, were we gonna put audit in there first?
Yeah.
It's on the new
Oh,
okay.
I only have the old page.
I emailed it to each of you. I'm sorry.
That's okay, so it's already there for number
It
one.
already is, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
If there's one over there, you want to grab it.
That's okay. Move to approve the meeting agenda as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda minus the minutes from May 13th and add the unpaid bills number 15334 through 15345 for a total of $21,451.70.
Second. Addendum to that, I'd also like to talk about the financial reports.
Okay, is something just in discussion, or do you wanna pull
Well,
it?
question, because some things don't balance.
Okay. So pull financial reports also?
Which ones?
Cash summary by account. Bring them up. Page 1.
Treasurer's report. Do you wanna-
Yes.
Brower,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski excused, Worth, yes, Davis?
Yes. Start with the
On the minutes on the second page, number 11, the member reports. On the second line, it says Mary Miller reported O, and it should be reported on.
Okay. Yeah.
MPA conference and Robert's rules of order, not off order.
Okay.
That's it. Typos.
Okay.
Get a motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes with the corrections.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Alright. On the, cash summary by account, the ending balance reported here for ending, I'm sorry, the beginning balance for the beginning of May for the cash fund of $857,120.62. The ending balance as reported last month was $851,683.66, a difference of $5,436.96.
I can't answer for that, but I think it is the interest that she put in, because it's usually done after.
This is all fitted.
It's under the general fund, because the cash summary, report's the same. It's all under the general fund.
Yeah, they're the same reports, but Jim is catching it on this one just as the balance. But I think it's the interest, I can't, because she didn't put the interest in, from Michigan class and the banks in this report.
Can we find out for sure, so we know next meeting?
Yeah, I could check with her if that was what that was,
Well, all the other Michigan classes in there,
from previous.
they all balance.
All Michigan classes in there.
When you look at the ending balance from 4/30 to the beginning balance of 5/1,
Yeah,
they're the same,
Are they?
except the general fund is the one that's off.
So we'll look at that when she gets back.
Then if you drop down to Fund 208 Park and Recreation,
Yeah, we know that one's out of sync for some reason.
we still haven't figured out why. Showing a checking account, cash checking is negative
Yeah.
almost 28,000. We're working on it. Those were my questions.
can do it that way or not. I don't know.
I would hold it until, I don't know how we can approve it.
Well, I know, I mean, it's been, so, it's just something that hasn't come across before, so.
I haven't talked before.
So I think that goes to it.
Alright. Next up, we have a guest from, Benzie Senior Resources. Can you speak?
Thank you all. I won't take much of your time. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about Benzie Senior Resources. My name's Nancy Call. I'm on the board. As I expect most of you are probably aware, Benzie Senior Resources is a 501c3. It's not a governmental unit. It's a nonprofit, and it exists to support the seniors in Benzie County. One of the things that makes this organization unique from a lot of others is that our services, for the most part, are offered on a sliding scale, which means people are paying according to their ability to pay. 88% of the people that we serve are over 70, so it's definitely senior citizens.
Nancy, could you come talk to the board?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Well, no, it wasn't meant to be anything, it was just,
No, and I wasn't sure if I should address the room or.
yeah,
no, okay.
the board.
Okay. 39% of the people that we serve are struggling financially, which means they're 23,000 or below on annual income. And many of them don't drive, a lot of them can't stand long enough to cook. And many of them shouldn't be shoveling snow or their driveways. The bottom line is, without Benzie Senior Resources, many of these folks couldn't stay in their own homes. We make it possible for them to stay in their homes by providing about 30 different programs. You're probably familiar with the biggest ones like Meals on Wheels, the Gathering Place Senior Center, but there's also medication management, there's in-home health care. Everything is profiled on our brochures, and also I brought some copies of our annual report for you, and I'll leave a few copies. All that information is available online too. Just to hit some of the highlights, this last year over 91,000 meals were prepared. Record number of in-home clients were served, record number of driveways, record number of medical health rides. I think from this township, there were 213 clients that were served by Benzie Senior Resources. This I thought was really interesting. Between 2010 and 2020, our population in Benzie County grew by 2.5%. During that same time, the senior population grew by 24%. So we are definitely getting older. Yeah.
Some of us have gray hair.
Some of it, yeah. True. And the reason I'm here today is I just want you to be aware of the fact that I know there's a lot of millage votes coming up. The Benzie Senior Resources millage will be on the August ballot. And what it is, the millage is currently 0.85 mils. And it's on the ballot for 1 mil, which would be a 0.15 increase. Putting that in terms that we can all understand, if your home's valued at $250,000, it means an additional $19 a year. The reason we're seeking that increase is based on the population. We're having a really difficult time keeping up with serving the number of seniors that we've got. Also put in a plug for everybody. If you want to support Benzie Senior Resources, we're always looking for volunteers. We run largely on volunteer power. We have currently 124 volunteers, 30 staff people. I want to mention too that this millage is only for programs and services. That's it. We as an organization have been doing a series of community meetings this last several months, we're busting at the seams in our office, in our gathering place, in our fleet for home delivered meals. And we were trying to find out, by asking the county, what do you expect of us going forward? What do you wanna see? If that results, which we don't know if it will, if it results at some point in a capital campaign for a bigger building, I want you to know that that's got nothing to do with the millage. The millage is earmarked strictly for programs and services. So with that, just wanted to let you know that that's coming up on the August ballot. If you have any questions, you're welcome to contact any member of the board. Doug Durand, our executive director, who's always more than open and happy to explain things. A lot of information is available online, and I will leave a few copies of our annual report and our brochure, so that you can look at if you like.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for letting me come, I appreciate it.
Correspondence, anything?
I didn't get anything either.
Alright. County Commissioners report.
Thanks, Dave. I think we have, Commissioner Janot's report, his written report. Mine, our annual audit has been completed with the county. We've received the unmodified opinion, which, as you know, you guys are talking about years later, so that's the best opinion you can get. We've been working on our strategic plan, and we should have that finalized hopefully tomorrow. The sheriff's department is back to 24-hour road patrol coverage. And they have a new K-9 working now in service. Who was his name? Omar. I gave you a handout that we had printed up with the ARPA funds, what the county did with them. We had almost $3.5 million that we got in the county in ARPA funds, and that handout kind of discusses where it all went and how we got there. The Headley Tax Advisory Committee has gone through all of their meetings, and they've recommended moving forward with no raise in any of the taxes, but just to remove that verbiage in there as from indefinite out of our millage language. Let's see, we started the budget process for next year. And we're currently in need of recycling attendants for our recycling sites. So contact the administrator's office, because we currently do not have a recycling coordinator. He resigned here, I think, 2 weeks ago. So we're also looking to fill that position. The opioid lawsuits that I told you about a couple of years ago that we were involved in, we're gonna be putting a page on our website to show when those disbursements come in and what we're using them for. And they come in at weird sporadic times. There's no, it's like all of a sudden they say, oh, you're getting this money, so it isn't anything that we can say on June 1st we're getting it. And then lastly, this year's Salute to Service football game between Frankfurt and Benzie will be on September 13th at Frankfurt at 6:15 p.m. That's where they honor our local veterans.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
With recycling, who is responsible for maintenance of the lots that all the bins are on?
You mean the cleanliness or actually taking care of the lot?
The potholes that you see cars going in and out.
I'm not sure. I think each site is different, because I know the one here is at the school, so I don't know what each contract says. But I think the one in Homestead, they put that parking area in for it, so who's responsible, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I mean, I could find out for you, but is there a problem with a specific one?
Yeah, well, the one in honor is like going through a minefield. And I've had, the last 3 times that I've stopped there, I've had other people comment to me as they come bouncing through. One guy, it was his first time there, didn't realize how bad it was. So.
All right, I will mention it to the county administrator.
Throughout the handout, for some reason that says there was 29 calls last month, there's actually 30. So I do have a call in to the company saying why does one report say one thing and one report say another thing. If you want to, it was a 631 authorized control burning. That's not added. So breaking that down, it was 15 EMS, 15 fire calls. Out of those fire calls, 3 were to Long Lake for actual structure fires. And then we did mutual aid to Green Lake 3 times, 1 for a MBA with multiple people trapped inside the vehicle, 1 wildfire, and then 1 request for a UTV because they had a hiker way back in the woods that broke her ankle and they couldn't get her back, so they requested our UTV to go over there and drive almost 2 miles back into the woods to get her. Other than that, that's about it. We went to Lake Ann School with Elmira Township today to do our annual tug of war with the kids. Of course, we lose all the time, so.
On purpose?
Sometimes, we try to beat the bigger kids, but they don't always work. When you have 15, 20 fifth graders against, 7, 8 people, adults, that, I tell you what, adults don't win. Other than that, the truck is back from getting the dents fixed from when it slid off the road and hit a couple trees. So I gotta go get that lettered now. Other than that, that is it. It should be.
Parks and Rec?
Well, I can go first.
Yeah, you go
We got the, doggy stations installed, last weekend, so one's up at each entrance to the park, so. I got keys, so we'll check them periodically.
Do we have somebody that's gonna do that? Me?
Okay. There's 4 keys, so anybody can check, but yeah, and I got the extra bag and stuff here too, so. We'll see how it goes, if anybody calls. I know usually when, Inland Park is full, people call and say it's full, and then we take care of it. I'm not sure what'll happen that way.
Okay, well, I've, as you already know, I've been kind of out of it for a while, but I'm getting back in it. So I was checking around with people who are actually working over at the park to kind of get some updates on what we've been doing, and I actually managed to walk a half a mile up the trail yesterday, Center Trail up through the woods, so that was an accomplishment for me, but I also was able to see that the trail is being maintained. Glenn got over there and mowed the center trail that goes from one parking lot up all the way up to the other spot, so that's mowed now, you can find it. Jenny and Keith have been over putting the little tree signs on the trails. They're missing, the signs for the forest trail are not up yet because we have red signs, and the trail is shown on the map as a green trail, so we just gotta adjust the map, so it says red, and then we'll put those up too. So those little tree signs will be posted all around. The perimeter trail has not been finished, so I've got it closed off now, so you really can't kind of go through there, because it's not really safe yet, it's not quite ready. Becca has, of course, been busy doing her work with her dad, for this township and half a dozen others, and so I talked to her today on the phone. She's the one who was working on that trail, and she said their spring work is pretty much caught up now, and so she'll be able to get back to helping out over at the park, again, so we can get that going again. She she asked me about the things that we're doing in the, on Lake Ann Road Park. Because she's been talking to people who have kids who are in wheelchairs. And was asking, are we doing anything to make sure that that park and whatever upgrades we're doing there are gonna be accessible for people in wheelchairs? And it's a great concern of hers, of course, because she's experienced that kind of life. And so I said I would raise it tonight at the meeting, so to make sure that we're taking that into account. I know when we looked at picnic tables, we looked at tables that a wheelchair could fit under, but there's a whole lot more stuff that needs to be done if we're gonna make the park accessible. And she says there's no parks around here that really are accessible. Various parks have upgraded and they claim they're going to do something to make the park accessible, and they get started on it, and then they do something dumb like put wood chips down, and so that takes care of that. So she hasn't been able to find any place that, Blair Township has
Yeah.
one? Okay. So anyway, it's a concern, and I think, we've talked about it a little bit before, but I think we need to make sure that whatever we're doing,
Yeah.
that we can make it that way.
In the quote that I have, they're sending me new ones just to kind of cover just the improvement, fixing what's there. Adding an ADA swing is in there, and then cutting a path so that they can kind of come right up. It'll be like on the end of the swing, so that that'll be accessible. Really don't, I'd have to look to see what other kind of ADA park equipment there is.
Well, she would be happy to consult with the board on
Okay.
this stuff and to, help us figure out what can be done. Because
She's been in a wheelchair for a long time.
spent a lot of her life thinking about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So she's willing to make some input if we want her to. I'm trying to think, I don't know what the status is of the things that we've ordered that are not over there yet. The benches, the picnic tables and the pavilion, so.
Have the picnic tables, just need to get them put together and brought over there. And then I have the pavilion, haven't been able,
We had a vehicle malfunction. so we
Yeah.
couldn't do that, so, yeah, but we'll work on
but
it.
your water tank, you get that?
I talked to Glenn and have him put it in the car,
Okay.
and we can fill it up and do that.
Okay,
Yeah, I know Rose is gonna go do the cement stuff.
yeah,
And I said I would go with her, so she didn't have to deal with it by herself. Loading those bags of cement.
I just didn't wanna
I
go
will
get gallons of
observe her.
water to mix cement up.
I will watch her love the bags of cement, right. I'll be there as an assistant. So that's where we are right now. We're a little bit behind schedule, but I'm hoping we'll catch up eventually. Jenny and Keith have been keeping the woodland trail clear, so it's easy, to find, it's looking pretty good. Urge people to get out there and take a look at it.
Fire association,
We didn't have a meeting last month, but we are doing can sorting tomorrow at 6 o'clock out back here.
planning commission?
Planning commission met on the 15th, and we're working on the zoning ordinance, changes, and we also met on May 20th with a member of, Networks Northwest. And they're gonna be starting working with us in the fall, working on the master plan, and then, if we need anything in the zoning ordinance, it's basically gonna cost between $10,000 and $15,000 to upgrade the zoning ordinance. And, we've got a base contract in for $17,400, which has come to the supervisor, and he'll sign that, and then we'll get to fit it into our schedule. We should have a meeting, next week, Monday, 6 o'clock.
He sent the agenda out, did you get it?
Did, I haven't gotten that yet, but yeah, so next week.
Parks committee? You were at the meeting, me and Jim were at the meeting. Yeah, just still kinda trying to work out the timeline Fire 5K. And, basically looking for new members, try to boost numbers to be able to do larger events like this. As of right now, don't really have the numbers to pull it off, but that is the plan, is to work on recruitment. Website committee?
We are basically ready to have the new website go live. Just need to coordinate a few things. I need to talk to you at some point about the .gov. There's gonna be a new address of inlandtownshipmi.gov as opposed to inlandtownship.org. And the MI has to be added as part in order to get the .gov. But I'm proposing that we go live and actually run dual systems for maybe as long as a month. If we don't need to do it that long, you know, we don't, but I think we've got most of the things in place except for pictures, for some things. But in trying to find all the little details in the old system, some are kind of hidden, some aren't. But if we run dual systems for a month, that'd be good. And then after that, because it's gonna be real easy for the website, we just put a redirect. Anybody puts in the old .org, they'll get sent to the new website, with some, you know, pay attention, the address is different. We're gonna do a similar thing with email addresses, because we're gonna move the email addresses to .gov as well, and in both will probably run a forwarding for probably at least 6 months, but with awareness of all the email addresses and who knows who has what email address for whatever. Probably at least a year on email addresses, and then drop the old ones. And then one of the things, and I don't know that it needs to be a policy, manual policy, but one of the things I'm proposing is that committee chairs for all the different committees have the ability to maintain information about their committee, members of their committee that come and go through this body, but also if you have a notice going out, you know, certainly with meetings, you'll go through the calendar system, but I'd like, moving forward, I'd like the committee chairs to have the authority to get the credentials to operate the system without having to go through me as a bottleneck or you as a bottleneck. You know, just, I don't know if that needs approval.
Are you going to provide training?
Pardon?
Are you going to provide training?
Thank you for bringing that up, which is something I was gonna bring up at the end. I'm gonna start having office hours, on Thursday evening from 6:30 to 8 at least, for not only training on the new website for not only committee chairs, but just citizens that wanna learn, you know, how to access information a little bit more easily. But also, hours in the evening to look at MTA classes and whatever, but yes, training for the new website is part of it, and it's really, really easy. It is really easy. Once
I heard that.
once you understand the basics, because one of the reasons we selected the system that we did is you put in basic information, and particularly about the people that are on your committees or whatever. Once it's in, no matter where you reference it in the system. If it needs to be updated, you update it in one place and it generates all that information wherever it goes. So, and as I say, once you understand how their system operates, it's really logical. It really makes sense.
Okay.
Guaranteed. That's about it. Land committee.
Well, I'm just, giving myself a note, so I can call you tomorrow and get the emails, cause we gotta have a meeting.
Yeah.
Which we haven't had in a while, and I'm pretty much shut down the rest of this month, so it's gonna be in July, but
Okay.
I'll give you a shout tomorrow, we can figure out.
Alright. Zoning, single-family dwellings, 2 accessory buildings, 2 porches or decks, 2 solar arrays, and 3 land divisions. Compensation committee.
We've been following up on a couple of loose ends and mentioned something about the manual, the policy and procedure manual. Haven't really heard too much from the board as far as the ability to take that on. We need to define what is non-statutory duties and what those values are. So I think that's part of the overall process, so we're, is that a gift?
This apparently was requested from Blaine Township, and she brought it to me at our clerk's meeting. And it's salary research that they did.
Oh,
It was requested by Laura, I guess.
yes.
So would you prefer Laura get it, or are you guys having a meeting
Yeah.
and,
I'll take care of it.
all right? So,
As far as the policies for, as far as the policies, it would be a great assistance to the board if your committee could draft what it thinks are sensible policies for compensation for both statutory and non-statutory.
hopefully will help a little bit, went through it a bit.
Board member reports.
Nada. Well, I went to a clerk meeting, and we had Rebecca Hubers there with us, giving us information regarding CISA, cybersecurity and stuff for elections, and Sheriff Rosa came in and talked to us too, and let us know that they're there for us, even for us who people think that we are in Grand Traverse County. He understands, so, but yeah, it was quite informative, some of the issues that happen at our different sites, even though we are a small town.
Can you
We
talk
get-
up so we can get it on the recording a
We
little bit?
get a lot of different, people walking in our doors that can create problems, but. So she just let us know that and gave us a paper of what to be aware of, so we'll have that posted in our little thing for all the staff to.
What meeting was this?
It was, kind of just an informational type training meeting on election security.
And who gave it? Was it a county?
Rebecca Hubers from the county.
From the county, okay.
Mhm.
Also have a survey that Therese did for, improvements at the park and all those things.
Here's a draft version. This is gonna be going out, with the summer tax bills, but, Trees found out that it needs to be to the county 15th of this month. So, any feedback that you can give on this?
I like the email.
You know, addition to, you know, what you'd like to see at the park. We need to clean up some of the wording. I need to find out, and one of the questions that Teresa was gonna ask is, when the board made the decision that the ARPA funds was gonna be used for the park, just so we can include that, so people understand.
I can't give you, I was thinking about, I can't give that exact date. I know when we got it, we talked about it a lot, and we had decided to use it for the parks because of all the information was coming back to the board about how much it was used during that time of shutdown. And that part of it we were gonna use for our fire firefighters for, extra pay, which they got that, and then we would take care of the parks after that, and then,
Was there a board meeting that was decided, or is?
I think we discussed it at the board and said that's what we wanted to use our funds for.
it wasn't,
I don't think it was a motion
Was
or
it a formal
anything.
motion?
no, it was a consensus among the board that, this is what we really wanna do with it, is, especially the playground area was a big thing. And then creating, people had expressed, pickleball courts. And this was stuff that we did during that shutdown time that would have been nice to have at our park, that they would like to see at our park,
Okay,
so.
so this is gonna go out in all of the tax bills, but if there's more than just you at home, make a copy for everybody there. We're also looking into, and hopefully have an answer by the end of this week, we can do this as a form online, so you can do it electronically as well. But it should be self-explanatory. Things aren't always self-explanatory when somebody else reads them, so please pick up a copy and anything. I don't have my email address on there, but trustee@inlandtownship.org, send me your thoughts. Love to hear them.
The only thing I have, somebody brought up to me is that there's a lot of people in our township who don't receive a tax bill, so they're never gonna see this. All the people who rent
We'll try to get it online,
Yeah.
online
and all the
with the
veterans,
old and new website as well.
yeah,
So get the word out, tell your neighbors. Ask your neighbor if they pay taxes.
well, if they were, are renters,
Yeah,
have quite a few
renters or undisabled veterans, they don't get tax bills, so. Alright, the only other thing is I have a proposal for, cleaning up one of the blight houses that we've had a court order for about a year now. We just never had the estimate to go with it. And, that's what it's gonna cost, and then that'll be, added to their tax bill. What's that?
Which property is that?
I'm not supposed to say it publicly. Yeah, I know. That's why we had to approve it in the closed meeting and all that stuff, so. Alright,
So, because these have the address on them, I need the papers.
Oh,
So you're,
Since you said that,
yeah,
like,
so is it just gonna automatically happen, or are you gonna vote to pay for it, or is the township gonna get reimbursed from the
it'll be
property?
added, yeah, it'll be added to their tax bill, and then if they don't pay their taxes, then
I'll white it out if you want, give it back to you.
that's okay.
there's copies over there without the address. Alright,
That one's in, get one for Tracy.
She didn't get it.
She didn't get it,
I put
okay.
it in your mailbox.
Okay.
But I'll grab
I
it.
didn't know which ones you picked up, so.
Yeah, no, she didn't get it.
I'll wipe it out, put it back in there, okay? If you want.
Yep. Alright, finished business, audit. I think we've all agreed that we narrowed it down to 2, correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know, I've narrowed it down to 1.
Yeah, I know that kind of after reading everything through.
Did anybody else call references? I actually talked to almost a dozen people. And I've narrowed it down to, actually, I'd like to propose that we award it to, Manor Casteris. They're the most thorough proposal. They handle over 300 Michigan government clients, which includes over $9 billion of government funding. So they know how to get funds and manage funds. The head of the department actually sent us their proposal, and he's co-chair of the Michigan Government Finance Officers, which is an accounting standards committee that advises the Michigan Department of Treasury. And basically, their job is to advise the Department of Treasury and the legislature on how to do things like audits and things financial. So they're a firm that is not as big as national firms. They're a big Michigan firm. They can share with us the wisdom of other townships, what they're doing right, what they found that they've helped correct as well. But also, since they have the ear of Lansing, they can keep us out of trouble because they know what's coming down the pike, because they're basically the ones advising it. I spoke directly to 3 of 4 people that we got responses from as far as what they thought. And while one other firm had nice responses, people were over the moon as far as Manor Costerison. Incredibly helpful, deep understanding of government accounting, which, you know, we've got, as a township, we've got some issues with the way our township is sitting, and we actually, later this month, 2 weeks from tonight, as a matter of fact, you're all invited, at 5 o'clock? Yeah. We have the head of another department of Manor Custodian coming in to help us through the budgeting process. Again, the feedback that I got was really, really outstanding. And I've actually been through this process before of hiring auditing firms with some of my businesses in past years, a long time ago, but still the same thing. And they're also the firm that is currently doing the audit for our county. So I strongly support them and would recommend them as the one we choose.
Alright, unless I missed it, is there more services than what the Cambridge and Company provide? I mean, obviously, you know, they have the inside track on Lansing and stuff like that, but as far as what we're actually getting for this audit, was there?
And they're more than double the cost of Cambridge and Company.
2.5 times.
It's not 2.5 times.
Well, those are
It's
21.
8,230 compared to 19,000.
21 or 19?
19. So it's a
19.
19 this year, and then 21, and then 23.
Well, they are decidedly more expensive. To use a metaphor, our township needs heart surgery. We need a triple or quadruple bypass. And while we might like our GP doctor that we've been going to see for years, or somebody else of equal quality that might not cost the same, if we're going to undergo heart surgery, I'd go with the best, and I think Manor is certainly worth it. We're willing to bring in a consultant in 2 weeks that, on an hourly basis, is much more. I mean, I think it's what, $3,750 to bring him in, just under 4,000. That's for a 3-hour session. You know, we're talking over 100 hours to have Manor come in. So based on their proposal, which was 8 pages, which I read through all the proposals. One was 1 page and insufficient. The 8 pages contain a lot more, you know, the specifics of what they'll do. I think that's, I don't want to say beside the point, because I think it's very much is the point. It's not the quantity of what they do, it's the quality. And having over 300 clients and growing quickly, you know, from that, I think so. And basically, you know, again, well, you know, I talked to 7 different Gaybridge references, 2 of which haven't been using Gaybridge for over 5 years, even though they were clients and listed on a page that said they've been used within the last 5 years. So, as a matter of detail, I'd say Manor has the edge there as well. Nobody said, oh, they were awful, Cambridge, but they said, you know, they're easy to work with, you know, nothing bad, but nothing as exuberant as the Manor responses that I got. And these were from people that are, well, Mary Clark has been at it for 13 years at Delta Township and is vice president of the County Transit Authority in Delta as well, past president of the Michigan Clerk Association, and she says they have a deep understanding of government accounting, godsend and planning for the future. Can't say enough good about them. And I thought an important point was that they cared that we understand the rules and procedures and that we don't just follow them. Proactively, deeply audit different departments each year. And this I thought was very important because it was something that we learned at the MTA conference. They switch up their auditor teams to expose the township books to a different set of eyes. So, you know, that's nothing that I heard from any of the Gaybridge people. Same thing from Genoa Township. They've been using them for over 3 years. DeWitt, they've been using them for 5 years and are really happy. They help, Manor helped them navigate major financial decisions. They're growing, and the point she made, until she said this, I too was a bit concerned about the cost. They're more reasonably priced than national firms like Ernst Young, Deloitte Touche, PricewaterhouseCoopers. I've hired Cooper's Lybrand in the past, and they aren't cheap. And for what Manor is charging, they're equally as good as some of the national firms, but again, focused on, you know, municipal clients, government clients, and they've been used. Do you know how long they've used Manor at the county level? I think it's only been a couple of years.
Yeah, we switched a few years ago. I don't
Yeah.
know the exact date, but it's been a couple of years.
But Kelly mentioned that she thought it was a big improvement and that they're fairly priced. And works well with others in the office, which is something I haven't seen since grade school. Plays well with others. So
Is this, because you got the quote on this one, like, I know this one, they put out the prices, but it's a 1-year contract. Is that the same here, or is this?
I think it's a 1-year contract that we can, I mean, even if it's a 3-year contract, we decide that, you know, we've come as far as we need to go. We don't need to, you know, obviously stay with them.
Gaybridge gave their 3.
I'm sorry?
Right, yeah, they gave 3 years, but he said that it would be a 1-year contract. I wasn't sure if that was, because these are just their quotes, these aren't their contracts.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, we could contract,
We can contract for a year.
we would have to go.
okay, well, that's why I wasn't sure if that was, if they wanted to lock you in for 3 years, or if it was, okay.
And I talked to Therese before she split for out of town really quickly, and after she said she reviewed everything, her recommendation was the one that Jim was recommending as well.
And just as an aside, for those of you that haven't heard, Teresa isn't here tonight because she's, well, she's, I'm sure, in Grand Rapids area, becoming a grandma, so, for the first time.
But we don't have to go through this every year to pick out an auditor, I
Right.
think. But would we? to just do it for 1 year and then we have to come back next year to hire him again? Or is this something that, because I know a lot of clerks, they don't go through this like this every, you know, they have
I
an
just-
auditor that they can call all the time
Right.
and talk to, so.
No, I mean, I get your point, and I'm doubting we're gonna get the same results as we did with the last auditor.
I hope not.
I hope.
But imagine if we would've went into a 3-year contract with her.
Well, I understand, but we could always,
That raises a side question
break
of-
those
of
contracts.
Contracts and why we go into 3-year contracts with anybody.
Right.
But I think, you know, there's, the statutes require that we be audited every other year.
Right.
MTA highly recommends that we be audited every year. And I can't remember if it was Rod Taylor, the guy that's coming in 2 weeks, or,
agree with that.
somebody else from MTA, that said, you really should do it every year. It's not that much more expensive, from the standpoint of doing it every 2 years, they have to dig a little further,
Right.
dig a
Takes
little,
more work.
takes a little more time and so forth. But, again, you know,
I mean, we
yeah,
have to,
I spent the better part of 2 days chasing people down, and, you know, a couple of them were surprisingly in, not during their office hours. I talked to clerks and treasurers, one office assistant. And I just have, you know, I think two of the ones that we had proposals from, I wouldn't use, their proposals were lacking. Gaybridge, you know, better than a sharp stick in the eye, but, it was clear, just the enthusiasm, the way people talked about Manor Castarian, and I don't think it was just, you know, the fact that they used them, they were really, really helpful. And the fact that, you know, all their team, I met a number of their staff at the MTA, and again, MTA does, Michigan Township Association, sorry for using acronyms, they do not endorse anybody, but the tacit endorsement is you get to show up and either participate in some of their classes or actually be on their trade floor, you know.
All right,
I think it's money well spent.
so did you make the motion then?
Yes.
Okay.
well, let's say that motion, because that was an awful long motion.
I move that we hire Manor Castarian, still tripping over their last name, as our auditor.
I'll second.
Now we can discuss it.
Or we can vote on it either way.
That's,
Go ahead, Mo.
Brower,
Yes.
Miller,
No.
Worth, no, Davis.
Yes. Motion fails. All right. Want to make a motion on Gaybridge and Company?
I move that we hire Gaybridge and Company, and try it for a year.
Hire Gaybridge Company and try it for a year?
For
Rather
one
than
year,
doing
1
it-
year contract?
Yeah, rather than doing a 3-year contract.
I guess I'll second.
Go ahead, roll call.
No, can we have a discussion?
Yep.
Nobody else called any references for something as important as our audit?
anybody that said that they weren't using Gaybridge and Company anymore, but, yeah, I mean, they,
Manistee Township and Bear Lake Township, I'm sorry, Bear Lake Township and Acme Township are no longer a client, haven't been since before 2019.
My thinking is that I've heard all these wonderful things about about both of them, but the idea of jumping from, 4,000 a year to 19,000 versus 8,000, I'm not sure that we need everything that I read in the, I can't think of the name, sorry. What is the one, this, manner, yeah, sorry. I'm not sure that we need everything that they are offering in there in the detail that they are presenting versus what Cambridge and Company is offering. That's why I said I would like to see the contract only for a year. If we decided that we didn't like what they offered, or that we think that we need something more than what's offered, we could easily make a switch.
You're measuring it strictly by dollars, and I think the talent that we need, our township has a fund balance that's way out of whack. We learned at the MTA conference that if the state took serious interest in looking at what we're doing, we'd lose over $250,000 of state funding every year because our fund balance is too high. This board and boards prior to it led a I suspect you picked a $4,000 auditor because that was the cheapest audit. Our auditor never red flagged any of, and that's just one issue that we have. Our chart of accounts is not in the shape it should be. Who knows what else?
I don't
You know,
believe,
I think that, you know, we're trying to pull a double axle motorhome with a little quarter-ton pickup truck when we need something bigger that Manor Casterison can offer. And just measuring it strictly on dollars and saying, you know, just because, you know, the 8 pages went into great detail of what they were gonna do, how they were gonna do it. I didn't see those details in the Gaybridge proposal. So to say that you're measuring things that, you know, are included in Manor that we don't need, I fail to understand the logic. I think you're going strictly on price and based on the, you know, you can have my notes of everybody that I talked to. Much stronger company. Yes, it's more expensive, but I think it's a service to the township to get the best we can afford. And we can certainly afford it because we have the funds that we've quite honestly mismanaged for the last decade and a half.
I do have, answer your question, the company that we used before was not strictly done on finance, on their cost. But like I say, what I'm seeing between the two of these, I'm not sure that we need everything that
Can
they want to charge us.
you articulate what you're seeing the difference as, besides price?
Excuse me.
Just because somebody doesn't detail everything that they are going to do in one section, doesn't mean that they're not going to do it. I mean, I
Doesn't
come
mean
from,
they are either.
excuse me, I come from a teaching point of view. When we turned in our weekly plan to our principal, we didn't detail every single thing that we were going to do in that hour or in that subject. We just said basically what we were going to accomplish during that week. We didn't bullet everything. I think the way that this was presented doesn't mean that everything that you think that needs to be done with Manor is not going to be done with the other company as well.
It also doesn't mean that it will.
Well,
I think you're taking a short-sighted view of looking strictly at the dollars.
okay, thank you.
I do have this to say. That in my years, that I have never seen 4 audit proposals, ever. I've only ever seen 1. And Dave and you, Dave, he was on the phone, calling, trying to get these. And he was proactive in this. You guys were proactive in getting these proposals, which for me is wonderful, because I knew where we were and I know where we can be, but I like the fact that for once we have something more to look at than, well, they didn't respond to the newspaper ad, this is the only bid we got. And the people who, and that the supervisor was proactive in helping, in getting a lot of these was great for me. And I loved seeing this many here. And, you know, it was just, that's what I have to say. And was that where it needed to be? So, you know, we need to decide if we're gonna, I mean, we've got a tie vote, we have to do another, we have to vote on this one, and we get another tie vote, I guess we're at another standstill, and, you know, we have to move on. So.
Audience member.
I have Teresa on the phone and she'd like to talk to you guys.
Is that's not allowed.
No.
Okay,
That's
I know
not
that you guys
allowed.
are tied, and if I were there, I would vote for Mayor,
allowed.
hands down.
You can tell her it's
Not
not
allowed.
allowed.
They're saying you're not allowed to talk.
I understand, I can't talk at all?
No. She's a board
Okay,
member.
that's fine.
Can't they say?
Did they hear what I said?
It's also citizen.
I know,
Could you
but
repeat what I
public
just said?
cannot comment over
If I were
Zoom.
there.
So,
Okay, can I repeat what she
those are
said?
a little bit of
Sure.
rules.
Alright,
So let's,
yes, go ahead and vote on.
okay, Brown,
No.
Miller,
Yes.
Ward, yes, Davis,
Yes.
Oh,
Motion carries. Alright. Pay and salary schedule. There's 2 things with this. Teresa originally wanted it brought up because she wants to separate out from the regular hourly, the deputy treasurer, and change that pay to 0.
The hourly to 0?
Yeah, well, no, the deputy treasurer,
just the deputy treasurer.
yeah, not all hourly employees.
Has to have a board approval to do that.
Well,
Because the deputy treasurer has asked to not be paid.
Oh. Okay.
And have to approve that.
And then, this doesn't have to go into it right now. For straightening out while the, salary committee works on the plan, I was just gonna throw out the idea of what if the 3 of us just took a $5,000 pay cut and then got paid $5,000 for our additional duties until we can get it sorted out of what each duty pays, just enough, I mean, it's not the best answer, but it at least I think would get us somewhat compliant.
It's an idea, but
Yeah, I know it's not the best answer, but,
I don't think it's a good answer at all.
okay.
I mean, it's, like I said, it's an idea.
Backing up, do we need a motion to set the deputy treasurer's pay to 0?
Yeah.
So are we moving on from that, or?
No, I was just throwing something else out, sure if that was a positive idea or not, but, so we'll just make the motion to change the deputy treasurer pay to $0 an hour. That is what you want, right? Okay.
I'll second that.
So if you're updating the sheet, the things I, had questions about is your deputy clerk is not on there for any pay.
Cause everybody was underneath the,
Hourly wage.
hourly wage when this was set up.
Oh, so that hourly wage goes for the
For
deputies?
everyone that's not listed on there.
And
There
so,
was the deputy clerk, deputy treasurer, we hired somebody to do something at $15 an hour a while back.
and what is probationary and in-house?
Those are fire department.
Okay, so maybe, okay, expired. And then, under zoning and planning, it says $7.50, is that monthly, hourly per meeting? It doesn't really say, that's monthly? Okay, and then, janitor says $250 office, $150 Bendon, is that per cleaning, per month, per year? What, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
It's
per
a-
month,
that's per month,
or,
okay.
yeah.
And then down at the bottom of the page, it's got under position 67 cents.
Yeah, it's supposed to say mileage.
That's mileage.
That one doesn't say it.
Go ahead and roll call.
Ralph,
What, sorry,
this
what are we roll calling?
This is to change the deputy treasurer pay to $0 an hour.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Miller,
Yes,
Zelinski is excused, Wertz, yes, Davis,
Yes, motion carries.
can I make another motion? That we approve, Rosemary Swartout as deputy treasurer on the bank account.
we are, that is down there on the list.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
No, I even have it underlined.
Alright, playground repair, our quotes did not come in this time. So, we'll be there again next month. Playground drive, two quotes, AJ's, they said they can fix the potholes with 40 yards of gravel and then grade the whole thing. And then Helpers says we need to redo the whole thing and bring in 180 yards of gravel at a difference of about $7,800. I don't know that Helpers actually went out and looked at it. The only ones I saw looking at it were AJ's, Pops, and
When we had,
Bobby.
when we had AJ's do it the last time, he just did that one portion where we were for,
Correct, yeah.
clean up there.
for cleaning, they just did that small, not even the whole length of it. And I don't remember how many years ago that was,
It's been a while.
but it held, but that portion of it held up really good, he
Yeah.
didn't touch the other side, so.
Yeah, he just said he'd regrade the whole thing and then, bring in gravel to fill the potholes. But, and none of the other companies got back to me. I even met two other ones out there that were sending a quote, so. I will go ahead and make a motion that we hire AJ's to do the, park driveway for $2,420.
Is that coming out of general fund? I'm trying to make notes for Teresa.
I haven't figured out the parks one yet, have they?
Parks is, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Or do we wanna just call it part of the Arkell Park improvement? Or save that for, just take it out of the general fund.
General fund?
Anything else?
Discussion? Go ahead, roll call.
Brower,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes,
Zelinski excused, Worth, yes, Davis.
Yes. Motion carries. Blight ordinance.
I have a couple things that I wanna either add or subtract to this thing.
Okay.
On the first page, the last paragraph, the third sentence down, it says, for the purpose of this ordinance, the term "a junk automobiles," can we get rid of the "a"? And just put junk
Yeah.
automobiles?
Yeah. No, I don't, it was, we
Yeah.
only had the PDF, I cut and pasted it,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of things like that popped up, but yeah, I'll get that
And,
corrected.
and I have a problem with, having a motor vehicle that's inoperable for excess of 60 days. A lot of people around here have vehicles that they don't insure during the winter because they don't drive them in the winter. They park them in their garage and they use a different vehicle.
I don't consider that inoperable,
Well,
because they still have it registered.
It's still registered, except
yeah,
might not
but
be insured.
Nah, insure it though.
Right.
But it's life,
It's in storage.
It's in
Yeah.
storage.
It's, yes, storage.
that's
Okay,
different.
so
And it's not,
inoperable
it's not
doesn't
sitting out
mean
in your
it's
front
storage.
yard
Right.
saying, hey, look at me.
Okay, just questioning. Flip the page, under D. It says, the existence of any vacant dwelling, garage, or outbuilding unless such buildings are kept securely locked, windows kept glazed or neatly boarded up. What about people that only are up here during the summer? Are we telling them now that they're gonna have to board up their cottage? Or,
No, I take that as it's a vacant dwelling, people are not living there.
Yeah.
It's not a snowbird home. It's actually vacant, there's nobody there anymore.
so if it's vacant for 6 months of the year, is it vacant, or is
No.
it,
If it's
Okay.
unoccupied for 6 months, doesn't make it vacant.
okay, just checking. And there's another, in, C, there's another term there in the fourth line,
Yeah.
the term "a junk," just get rid of the "a." And do we need, on page 3, under G, do we need to say what a reasonable time is, like a year? So it's not questioned as to, yeah, I mean, my reasonable time might be different than your reasonable time. So should we say completed within a year?
It's kind of always been up to the blight ordinance, I mean, just, you know, obviously if they get ticketed in January, you're not gonna expect them to have it all done right away. because- But yeah, it's always just, there's never been a set date, it's just been the blight person working with them.
Do we wanna keep it that way? Cause I'm thinking maybe we wouldn't have the problem if we put on there that it had to be done within a year. Or is that, do you think that's too fast? I mean, maybe somebody is financially in a pinch and they can't do it in a year.
But I know that they've been given leniency when they made progress, they do stuff, and,
Yeah.
and they actually, have gone out and they've looked and inspected, and they have actually made
Yeah,
progress
and
on
they
doing
put-
it.
It says in there about making progress
Yeah.
and,
So just leaving it as reasonable time,
yeah.
okay? Okay, on page 4, number 3, notify the owner if possible and the occupant of the property property in writing to remove or eliminate within 10 days of, after service of notice. I'm wondering if,
That's to start progress.
okay. I'm wondering about the 10 days.
It's telling them why they're getting a blight complaint.
Mm-hmm.
This was reported.
I don't know, that was just a question of mine as to whether you wanted to leave it 10 days or give them more time than that. How's the rest of the board?
Yeah, I mean, I think 30 at the max. I mean, this is the, you know, get the letter, get in contact with us and say, hey, you know, we're gonna start, we're gonna,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or just to, you know,
Okay.
we're not gonna do it,
Yeah, did I not
type of thing.
see here, so the blight complaint isn't addressed in this,
What do you mean?
right? The complaint form?
Right, the form is the same if somebody wants to fill it out, but allowing the blight officer to file the blight complaints,
Okay.
makes it so that people don't even have to do
So
that,
this
cause that's
is-
been, the biggest issue is people don't wanna put their names on it.
Well, the form currently has the names on it,
Right,
and you're gonna
But-
change that?
yeah, we can change that, or, you know, put it optional, or, I mean,
So this is
but with this, like, they can just call and say, hey, go check this out, and then the blight officer can do it. Like, they don't need to come in and fill out a form, and,
Okay, thank you.
To adopt this, you're gonna need a public hearing.
right,
You just want to go over it.
yeah, I just wanted to put it out and not put it out secretly behind closed doors, so. And then, blight officer. We need to see if we want to hire somebody, or I'm willing to take it on as an additional duty. And that would happen, doesn't need to happen now either, but that's something we can talk about when we do the ordinance, how we wanna handle that.
Isn't that something that our zoning administrator was hired to do?
It is, but he is really slammed with zoning, so I've kind of just taken it off his hands. Just because, I mean, the zoning portion of the job is taking up way more than it used to.
So,
And-
during the public hearing, so we could talk about the ordinance and the blight officer, I mean, those would
Yeah.
go hand in hand for that,
Right,
for that.
but yeah, I'm just putting out the ideas. Alright, and then the L4029 training, MTA election training. There was also a conference with that too, wasn't there? Something, I
Yeah,
just got a thing in the
that-
mail.
That's the second page of this.
No, there was some, I didn't bring it in. But yeah. So, this came from the county, they sent this over. That there is, it's Zoom, so it's virtual, so there's, all that it is a course fee. And it's to learn about the L4029, which is our tax, annual tax request for, and it just tells us how to do it and all the information up there. How to fill it out, what's for, blah, blah.
It's like $25.
That's $25 for anybody who wants to attend it, and then this is the election prep. That is online, we would be doing online. And this is done through MTA for this one. And And I would like approval for this MTA one for the elections for the clerk and the deputy clerk to attend this.
And the treasurer, she requested because of the FOIA stuff out there, she said.
For election prep,
Yes,
is that the one?
yes.
I thought it was the other
Well, she
one.
wants both of them.
Pertaining to election records.
But for the FOIA, the freedom,
She's doing FOIA, she wants
she's
to
the
know.
understand.
FOIA coordinator, so she wanted in on that.
Okay, so for those three individuals, to approve payment into, doing it online is a great option, so. What do you,
Any motion?
would you guys like to see them individually motioned, or?
It's on the
It could be
agenda as one thing,
Right, but, yeah, so.
just call it training.
And it is, so, I move to approve the tax rate request form, virtual training, and election prep beyond the bureau training for the board members that would like to attend to cover their fees.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Roll call.
Brown,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Sitlinsky excused, Worth, yes, Davis?
Yes. Carries. MTA dues.
Now, I know we paid the dues, but this was actually for the online course subscriptions,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
This stuff,
for the premium.
yeah, I do a premium pass.
But I'm not sure if anybody, I mean, I use them.
I think everywhere should. For those of you not familiar with the MTA, it's Michigan Township Association. One of the best associations I've ever run into. They are so thorough and they are so focused on helping townships manage everything better. They are the go-to source for questions. They have 4 people on staff all the time to answer phones and your phone questions. They respond quickly to email questions. They have tons of material, so I think it's $1,900 well spent. Because this also opens it up to township team, including volunteers. So.
I have a question that kind of relates to that. I understand that, there's, some classes online for online classes from the conference that just
Mhm.
happened. I'd like to be able to take a look at it, so I don't know if that's got anything
That's
to do with
private personal stuff.
Well,
private personal stuff.
Yeah, because
Oh, really?
you have someone else, you have to, I mean,
I will be here Thursday evening
Yeah.
from 6:30 till 8.
I didn't know
And
if they had.
we have a
to do
TV
with
and
this.
just individuals, Jim
I
paid
signed up.
for it,
Yep,
Therese did after the fact, she signed up,
yep.
but,
Yeah.
so,
So that is.
I will try to
Yeah.
put something out to list what those courses are. And they're now posted, there's a password. But we can, there's actually open cabinets, there's computers, you can watch them on the screen.
Alright, so
that is,
make a motion that we go with the premium pass?
Mhm.
Seems like we've already paid our dues.
Yeah, because that's,
Okay.
And then also include the defense fund.
yeah, we already, that's already been done. It's just for the,
So it's just for the 1998.
it's just for the course, the
Yeah.
courses
The
that,
essentials, the plus, or the
Yep.
premium, is that what they call it?
Yeah,
this
that's
was called
pass.
premium pass. So Dave made a motion to approve premium pass.
Yes, for $1,900.
Second.
Any discussion?
Now, the thing with those, that, you know, I don't think you know, Jack, is that we as board members, because we're already on MTA's list, we automatically have access to those by logging in with their personal stuff. Volunteers do not. They have to be added, so they have to, I need their name, telephone, emails, and addresses for that to happen, if anybody asks you or you guys, that's what
We'll put something up.
I have to have so I can put them in there. And then they will, MTA will contact them through their personal email, and they will be able to log on and create their own accounts.
Alright. Any other discussion? Alright, go ahead and roll call.
Brower?
Yes?
Miller? Yes. Zelinski excused, Worth, yes, Davis?
Yes. Approved deputy treasurer on the bank account. Jim? Go.
I propose that we include the deputy treasurer on our bank accounts.
Second.
Rosemary Swartout.
Because we have the other one in there too.
Hi, I'm the deputy treasurer.
Yeah.
And since we have the bank manager here, we can take care of this right now.
No. No, that's strictly Teresa. Include deputy treasurer Rosemary Swartout on bank accounts and remove. Remove who?
Yeah, you wanna state who you wanna remove?
You need to remove
Who are we removing?
Gail Randall.
Gail Randall.
Gail Reeves.
I would've fixed it when I actually went.
I got the Gail part right. Probably spelled it wrong. A-I-L or A-Y?
A-I-L.
Y-L-E.
Okay, so Jim did that. Who second? Mary, you second that? Okay.
Go ahead, roll call.
Brower,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Zelinski excused, Worth, yes, Davis?
Yes, motion carries. Alright, any other business to come before the board?
Did you want
I have a question for cleanup day. Great success, great expense, as long as we're talking about big expenses. We pulled in, what, 2,500, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Cost us roughly 2,500, or 25,000.
Yeah.
So, and we knew that it was gonna be a loss going in.
it always?
This is really a question more for the people. $20 an axle is the deal. We were told that, a small pickup truck filled with stuff at the landfill is like $77, and goes up from there. Would anybody be objectionable to raising that fee? I mean, we're a year away.
What gets us is they also add that gas tax, that gas thing now, so that also increases it by $2,000.
So just, I like a bargain as much as anybody else, but, I was stunned how many trailers full of junk Township actually had. It was good to see the turnout, but
there's gonna be some
I
changes
think
to that next year.
I think if you raise it, you'll get less people.
Get less people?
Absolutely.
We have
You're
to,
doing a service for your citizens by keeping it at that rate. I mean, we had that surplus of money that everybody's been talking about in our fund balance.
we do
That
have,
we're using it by giving a better service to our things and charging them $20.
it's just a certain,
I think because it's a money issue, and I think there's a lot of people that have that much junk that are coming there with that much stuff, don't have the money to pay if you're.
Fair enough.
I think
to be
it's
honest.
things like siding that need to be not allowed.
Yeah, and just the hour and a half unloading of siding.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez. So, well,
That's a good
thanks.
question. Is it construction debris from a company?
Yeah, it was from his house.
Yeah, he did the
He
siding
re-sided
himself.
his house.
So, okay.
I think there were a couple of companies that came through
But,
as well.
yeah,
We just need to get better.
we'll make
And
some.
only a few people tried to bring tires, they just didn't read the fine print.
Hopefully that cleans up some blood delay.
Yeah, well, it's certainly worth it.
Yeah.
So, that is my only question.
Okay. Assuming they wanted to lower the tax rate, didn't you? It's now time to fill out the 4029. We're going to class for it though, but, it was brought up when Dave and I were talking.
It's been-
Our operating expense, do we need,
It's been brought up before, I think,
Well-
yes, I think our rate needs to be dropped, but
Well-
I think that we need to, quite honestly, I don't think the board has the accounting chops to determine how much it should be dropped.
well,
I think that's where a
We've-
good auditor comes in
Yeah.
and advice.
But-
We're gonna be getting advice on when does this need to be signed?
well, September, we have time, but it was brought up, maybe take our operating expense down for a year to zero. I mean, that's,
I wouldn't blow it all at once, and I would wait
Since we have-
I would wait 2 weeks for a very experienced gentleman coming in to give us some advice before we
but,
even entertain conversation about it.
but that gives us something to think about
Absolutely.
reducing our actual operating expense for the township.
No, it reduces our income, doesn't reduce our operating
It
expense.
reduces our millage for our operating expense. That's what it's called on the ballot.
I understand, but it's, for the audience's benefit, we're not reducing our operating expense. We set the budget March 26th for our operating. This is income, and we'd have to make an adjustment as well
Yep.
to our budget. I'm not opposed to it, I actually proposed that, I believe in February or March. But I think it's premature to talk about the amount.
Well, like I said, it's something to think about. What we would like to do as a board.
I think we should think about it in 2 weeks very seriously. And I think that fits right into the discussion of how to budget.
It does. So that's why it was there.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm new in coming to the meetings, but do we have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan or 20-year plan for the township and moving forward so that it gives some directions? I couldn't find any on the website of any plans that like that for a 5-year plan, which would have taken, I think, into consideration the accounting and how the accountant, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that a good accounting and that type of thing of where we're at, and then a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and a 20-year plan would be appropriate. Now, maybe it's
Right.
there, but
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
You're dead on.
Yeah, we don't have it, we are, it's
Well, let me,
something I've want, but we have not gotten to it.
Okay, well, then that goes to the flavor of the audit. When I'm sitting here listening, and I'm planning on taking, a company on, I think that what I would want a very detailed plan, and when an accounting firm can't tell you in their proposal what they're doing, then how can we plan, or how can the township plan effectively if they don't have the plan from the accounting people to do the audit? So it would seem like the audit would drive the plan for the future. And if you're not, if we're spending our taxpayers' money, I'd rather be able to see a good accounting and audit done that will drive the board in a direction that is appropriate.
Right.
So when I heard Jim say, I heard Jim ask, and he asked the board members, did you call people? I think you were the only one that said you did. Well, if it's such an important thing, why as a board member, wouldn't you guys take that on and be able to call so we have more information than to say, well, I just didn't get around to it. I'm a little confused.
Right.
I've sat on boards, and I sit on a board in Florida, and I'm kind of lost, because we have to have plans in place and be able to talk to those, and our audit drives that. I'm kind of lost here.
Right, you're not the only one. Are you gonna be around in 2 weeks?
In 2 weeks?
Yes. Come to the 5 o'clock special meeting. I think you'll be very impressed, because what you say is true, and it's a little bit of which came first, the chicken or the egg. Audits are very important. There are 4 or 5 different elements that should go into the processing of what eventually comes out as a budget, in addition to monthly and quarterly reviews of the budget, so we know we're on course, need a little correction, whatever it might be. But you're absolutely right. We currently don't have any short-term or long-term plans. We've been reacting. And this is not just on this board. This has been true for over a decade and a half. According to our policies and procedure, we're supposed to have a capital improvement program. Doesn't exist. There are things that need to change, and the auditor that I thought could help the most wasn't the one chosen, so we'll do the best as we can. But we do have a good guy coming in 2 weeks that is going to lay out the beginning of a framework, and it's not gonna get fixed overnight, but hopefully in 2 weeks we'll start the process down that road.
Any other public comment?
Yeah, in line with this fellow's comment, also Mary's comment, in your analogy between what you did as a school teacher in submitting your curriculum to a principal. It's a great idea. I think it's an excellent, but it has no parallel to an accounting. You're dealing with a very abstract process when you're dealing with a curriculum quite often, I suspect. And I'm not an accounting person. I don't have an education. I have a degree, but I don't have anything in the education field. But I would say that the accounting is not that analogy is just not at all appropriate for what is trying to be proposed here as far as an accounting process. That's it. Oh yeah, one other thing. What is this?
That is the proposal for the light cleanup.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So, the reason I stayed so long, I was ready to go home about an hour ago, but I didn't, because I wanted to ask, about, the park, the Inland Township Park. 2 years ago, when what to do with, ARPA money and what to do with the parks, and we had that land road, got started on the land road park. We had all these great ideas for that park, for the existing park. And I thought that the board at one time approved some of those ideas. Maybe I'm wrong, I'd have to go back and take a look at it, but, you know, we were talking about pickleball courts and a new basketball court and redoing the whole playground and, you know, a bunch of good stuff, which I thought had been approved. We were just required to get more bids.
They wanted more bids,
They
and
wanted more
we
bids.
couldn't get 3 bids.
Right.
And so technically with that money,
As
we
the
weren't
months go
required to.
by, we get new, I hear new ideas about what's gonna happen over at that park. Dave, you had this whole complex of stuff, you know, playground equipment and stuff like that, I can't remember what it was called, but that would cover some of that stuff. I don't know where that is now. And I'm feeling a little frustrated that we don't seem to be actually approving anything over there now except the road. We're gonna fix the road. So it's kind of dwindling down so that nothing that was talked about 2 years ago is on the list anymore. So I'm just expressing my frustration about that. I'm hoping that we can take a look at what we did approve 2 years ago and see why we're not doing it.
It was never approved, it was asking out for bids.
Right.
To get
And they
more
didn't get
bids.
enough bids, so it never got approved.
Okay, all right, so,
And the board said that they just didn't wanna spend the money, I believe, at the last meeting, if I
well,
understood it right on the YouTube, that's why that survey went out.
Yeah.
Or that survey's going out, to find out what to do with that money for the park.
okay, so the frustration is that money has to be spent if we're gonna use the ARPA money. That we have to at least allocate it, we have to.
By the end of the year.
Has to be has to be allocated by the end of the year.
Right, so,
Committed, does not have to be spent.
okay, so I'm just asking that we get going on it. You know, I've been kind of out of the loop for a while, but I'm just hoping we can move ahead on something pretty soon. That's all. And I'm willing to help with it in any way I can, but, you know.
I have a question on your blight information that you gave out. We're kind of new to the township. So you can't give out the address of who you're going to clean up or
Right.
whatever you do to them. If we want to complain about somebody about it, and this is who you're cleaning up, say, how do we know that they've already started in the process of the paperwork or?
Do you have a list of the people or you got blight stuff issues then?
I do, we have a file with all their cases in them.
And how many in the township do you have?
There's 6 active.
But the ones that are in court, we can't discuss.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk to the supervisor outside of this meeting, and he will inform you what you need to know. How's that?
Yeah. I can go through your list and tell you, you should complain about this one, this one, this one.
So you weren't the officer to do it, it was your zoning administrator, now you're going to be
Yeah.
taking it over? or-
Yeah,
Okay,
we weren't, and the way it was being filed through the courts, there's a better process that, because I think this one has been like 7 years
Yeah,
to get through the courts,
Yeah.
to get a court order.
it's a long process, but
yeah.
it just,
So.
it needs to
And then
be.
COVID halted it for a
Yeah.
while and, yeah,
But-
so.
Do you have any more in the court system or just this one?
One more in the court system. And some that people are working on them, so we haven't filed anything.
So with,
Yeah.
with the zoning, not doing the blight anymore, is his pay gonna be reduced, because he was hired for both zoning and blight?
No, because after 1 year, he was supposed to look at moving up to what the last zoning administrator, who also, she did some of the paperwork for Blight, but she had somebody else to do Blight for her. And I said, all right, not gonna try to move your pay up, we're just gonna leave it where it is, and then I'll take that off your hands.
So he's basically getting a raise for just still doing the zoning is kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, he's still. Any other public comment? Close public comment, 7:51. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Close meeting, 7:51.
That's how you do it too.